what we used to do, which we're going to start doing today. I don't know if we're going to do it in such depth as we used to, but we're going to do something called wasting time, which is where we would tell a story or two from our week. Normally it was just a mundane dad story that got a couple of laughs, got a couple of chuckles. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they were just coincidence, but sometimes they were absolute gems. Like when I almost killed my kids at IKEA, or when Mike almost punched a Panera register. there were some buttes. There were, or was Joe's was the laundryman or the Chinese food guy? What was Joe's Chinese food guy story?
No, that was Chang. That was my laundry guy.
That was your laundry guy.
He stole Seb's wallet.
Yeah.
You laundered your wallet.
Chang!
Yeah. See.
Yeah. Oh man. But who wants to start wasting
when
time?
we were in the routine of doing this show more regularly, I would write stuff down and be like, "Oh, that's a good one."
I had to start making a note. I had to start putting notes. I got like 4 things on my notes here. But
yeah,
who wants?
I decided I was doing this with you guys yesterday. I am not back in the swing of things yet.
Nice. So, do you have a wasting time, Mike? You said earlier you had one.
It's just all things and that I've been watching, and the one I will talk about is Rings of Power.
Have you watched my live streams?
Dude, what? Why would you tell me to watch that?
The answer is no. He doesn't watch.
He said there was 2 people, and we know one of them was Seb. It's so bad, man.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's bad in it looks good.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's unwatchable.
I'm really trying to separate the fact that it's Lord of the Rings, and I'm trying to just watch it as a separate show. Like that it has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, to try to get through. That's how I get through it. Because it's something. Well, I mean, I love that whole thing. I love that world, and I want to. It looks good. Like
I'll just pretend it's not in that world.
The visual.
So I'm going to pretend the show isn't in it.
The visuals are really good. Like the show looks nice.
Yeah, I thought the Ents looked amazing.
Yeah.
The Wraiths looked amazing.
The Barrow Whites looked amazing.
The Barrow Whites, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
The show looks good.
There are just so many things that are bothering me. Like they're doing things out of order. And I'm I'm trying not to let that stuff bother me, because Peter Jackson did that, right? He took things and changed them and cut them out or rearranged them, so I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that, the Elven Ring shouldn't have been made yet. They should have been made last. But
I don't even care about that stuff.
Yeah. It's
the decisions that the characters make within the world they created make no sense. Right? Yeah. Like you want to change the history? That's fine. How on God's green earth, like Sauron is convincing Celebrimbor to help him make the rings. They realize it and they need to warn him. So eagles, magic, Palantir, not walk.
I said the same thing.
Not even horses.
I have a book here that I put all my notes in, and I'm like, my first thing on here says, "Why no horses? Why no horses?
Walk." It's I was like,
the thing that gets me the most
important message in the history of forever. I will walk.
Right. The thing that gets me is they got the characters wrong. Like you could change anything you want, but the elves are not the elves. The elves shouldn't be infighting with each other. The elves shouldn't be stupid idiots that are just, I don't know, easily manipulated.
Some of them are hundreds or thousands of years old, and they're dumb as can be. Like,
so dumb.
How did you survive 1,000 years? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
And the Numenorians are all wrong. Like they're supposed to be the elite fighting force of Middle Earth, and they can't beat one girl elf. Like they are supposed to be better fighters than the elves, right? What about in the last episode when the orcs snuck up on the elves?
1.5.
The orcs snuck up past the elves. How many times have we seen reference to when the Fellowship is walking into Lothlorien in the Fellowship to go see Galadriel, and all of a sudden Gimli's walking, all of a sudden there's 5 bows and arrows pointed at him, right? Because they heard him breathing from a mile away. What about Legolas standing on top of a mountain. And Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? And he can see for miles and miles and miles. The orcs, a band of orcs, stomping around with their big armor on. They sneak up on the elves in the last episode. And it's like, really? Like, you got them all wrong. It's just, that's the stuff that gets me.
I don't understand what caused this.
Yeah.
Like, they clearly have, like, they want to make the female character strong, and I get all of that. But the script writing is so poor. It does no, like, why? I assume the wizard is Gandalf. Why drag that out for a season and a half? What are you doing? That's because you have no mystery in the story. You have to just create this artificial one.
The Harfoots.
Is this based on any books or anything, or is this all
appendices mostly, right?
Yeah, they have the rights to appendices, and I think they have the rights to the Silmarillion, but they're not following the story. They're doing everything backwards and introducing people that shouldn't be there yet.
Okay.
So the Harfoots, which they're using, the Harfoots are the hobbits for this show because they're not allowed to use the hobbits.
Yeah.
Right. So they're using the Harfoots, which are a species of hobbit, I guess, or an ancestor of the hobbits. Well, these two Harfoots, which are the most annoying, I just skipped through them. I don't even know what's going on with them because I just skipped through them. But they get captured by another subspecies race of wee people, and they're looking for Gandalf because they got separated, and they're trying to describe Gandalf to the new people that captured them. And they're like, oh, he's a giant. He's a giant man. And they're like, oh, he's an elf. And they're like, no, he's a grand elf. And it's like, grand elf, Gandalf, grand elf. Like, I don't know if that's what, I'm like, are you really doing that? You do it.
Why? How can the best mystery you can come up with for a character is to figure out his name? That's the best writing you can do with the character. He's a wizard. And the best thing you could figure out to do is we're going to hide his name for a couple of years. And it'll either be the worst guarded secret because he'll be Gandalf, or he'll be some other wizard like Radagast that will make no sense, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no one will care about it. No one will care. Yeah.
So, what are you doing?
You know what else bugs me is that we know that Isildur cuts the ring off of Sauron.
Yes,
we know this. We also know that Galadriel is alive through the Return of the King, and then goes to the west. Every time they're in a precarious situation, I know they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
you can't kill them.
They have to make it out.
They have to make it through because they're a very big part of the rest of the story.
That's the inherent problem with prequels.
Yeah.
Is you have to, how the chessboard has to look at the end, so the parts in the middle don't really matter because you know how it has to look at the end of the game, which is the problem. There's no stakes because you know everyone who has to make it or doesn't make it.
Right.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I want you to show me really interesting stories that get me to where I want to be, and they don't even do that. They're like, no, well, the stories suck. If I know how it ends and you're going to tell me a bad version to get me to the end, why am I watching? I'm not going to I'm so done with watching shows that make me angry. I don't want to watch them anymore.
I know.
I just don't.
Everything makes me angry. I haven't watched a good TV show in a very long time. I liked House of the Dragon. I don't know if you watched House of the Dragon.
I watched the first season. I haven't gotten into the second season as much.
The second season is not as good. It's not as good, but it's still entertaining. It's still good TV. Sebby, you disagree?
No, after this last season of Game of Thrones, I wasn't going to prepare to give them any more of my time.
The first season's great. Got to watch first season, Seb. I'm telling you, watch first season. No, you got to do it. Watch the first season.
You just told me that it gets worse, so I'm not getting involved.
No, it's not. It's not bad. It's just not as good as the first season. It's still good TV. It is. It's just people, I think, have this idea of Game of Thrones where it's all friggin' like wars and battles. That's not what. If you go, I went back and rewatched the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. It's slow. Like there's a lot of talking at the tables for 3 seasons. There's every once in a while you get a big.
It was all intrigue.
Yeah, and that's what this show is. They went back to that, and I really like it. It draws you in. There may be one episode that's kind of not great. out of
I'll
the
just
second
watch
season.
old episodes of Cheers and Murder She Wrote.
Fair
What do
enough.
you call it? You know what I've watched in the last couple of years that I thought was very good? Yellowstone.
That's very good. I like
I
it.
thought Yellowstone was very good.
I like it.
That's
I
more
started watching
modern.
I started watching the prequels.
Okay, 1883.
And then
or whatever.
1883. They're really
Yeah.
good too. They're
Yeah.
really good too. And you don't have John Denton in it. So you don't have to worry about, the stakes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all his ancestors.
I liked that show, but most modern stuff, everything they've remade or dragged back out, or like, hey, we're gonna do an homage to a thing you liked. I'm like, no, you're not gonna like it. I'm not gonna like it.
Which is everything. Like they don't have a single original bone in their bodies these days.
Oh, I saw a list of all the movies that are coming out in 2025.
Yeah.
I want to say something like 90% of them were a sequel, a
prequel, remake.
Yeah, there was nothing new. Nothing.
Right.
No, you're like, I wonder what that movie is by the title. Like, no, none of that. It's bad. I don't know why that happened. Like people say, they want a guaranteed audience, right? Because movies are so expensive now, you need a built-in guaranteed audience. So you take something people are nostalgic about and they'll go see it. But I think they've spoiled that so badly now that when I see something I love, I go, I don't want to watch you molest that. Like, I don't want to watch you hurt the thing I love. So I won't watch it.
And they tell you it right up front. This is not going to be the story that you know. They did it with Snow White. The first thing that girl came out and said was like, this ain't going to be about love. This ain't going to be about the prince. Like, this is a strong, powerful woman who's going to boss around 9 dwarves. Or how many dwarves are there? 7 dwarves.
No dwarfs originally.
No, that's
now
true.
They went back and put in those horrible monsters that I don't know why they're just not putting that away.
Yeah.
Just make that be like Batwoman, right? The universal that
write it off. Write that off.
Write it off.
Yeah.
There's no way that ends well.
Willow. Remember Willow?
Willow.
Yeah. There's no way that Snow White, there's no way that how is that good? No one's gonna watch that. It's just gonna stir up all this controvery. Just put it away.
Be like the Acolyte. It's gonna be the same thing. It's just you're gonna have some people that go and watch it, but the majority won't even give it a chance.
Huh? No one watched the Acolyte. No one.
Your brother liked it? Joe told me your brother liked it.
Whose brother?
Yours.
My brother.
That's what I said. I was like, really?
No. He's a giant Star Wars fan.
I know.
Cried. He probably cried. No, he punched out, I think, during Ahsoka like I did. He's like, that's it, I'm done. No more. No more.
Yeah.
I got halfway through Ahsoka and I was like, no, I can't. They're not even enjoyable to watch. Like, there's nothing fun about them. There's nothing heroic about them. They're terrible. The characters are all poorly written.
Yeah.
I liked Andor and season 1 of Mandalorian.
A lot of people liked Andor.
And the last season of the Bad Batch was good. Well, the Bad Batch in general.
Yeah, I watched the first season of that, but it's just too many episodes to me to get through them all. They lost, like, my teenage daughters don't like them. And, like, that's crazy. Like, I raised them as Star Wars fans, and they don't like the female-led shows. Like, ooh, that's a problem.
Well, they're not lesbian space witches.
No.
Your daughters.
One can,
they can't see themselves in the show. Yeah. Sebby, did you waste any time?
No, not really. I have a story, but I can't tell it. I'll save it for a Patreon episode.
Save it for a Patreon episode?
Yeah.
Already? We don't even have Patreon episodes.
I don't want.
Yeah, we need some patrons.
I don't want it to go. It could blow up really bad if I tell this story, but I'll tell you, it's a real doozy.
I have another name for a podcast ready to go.
Yeah, I might lose friends and stuff if I tell this story, so I'll pass. We got a band to talk about soon, so
I think a good 3.0.
All right, sorry. The first time I'm using this feature, so this is my way.
Hillbilly games.
So Joe came down.
This is what they do in the South for the Olympics.
Dude, it was the best night that he was here by far. So Joe comes down and flies in on a Friday night. I go pick him up at the airport, take him out to a nice dinner. And then that was on Friday night. On Saturday, I think we just hung out. We hung out and we worked on this podcast a little bit. He helped me figure some stuff out on StreamYard, and he
What
helped
do
me
you
figure
think
some
nice
stuff out.
dinner was, Seb?
Oh no, it
Pig's
was nice.
feet,
No.
pig's
No,
feet,
no.
and
He had a pork-
cracklings.
He had a pork chop. He did have a pork
Grits.
chop, a really good pork chop.
He had instant grits.
No self-respecting Southerner eats instant grits.
And
Are
then
you telling me
they
that the laws of
robbed the
physics-
sacks of suds. And then Joey had to call his cousin Vinny to help bail him out.
How'd you know? You read my notes. So the last night he was here was Sunday night, and it just so happened to be the Maury County Fair, which is my county's state fair. Well, yeah.
Doggone
Hot dog.
So my daughter, on a side note, my daughter plays travel softball, and we're on this team with all locals, right? And I absolutely love everybody on this team. All these parents are really, really cool. The girls are really, really cool. And there's a kid that's one of the sons of one of the coaches, and we call him E. We'll just call him E. And if you remember A League of Their Own, he is Stillwell Angel, but the southern redneck version.
Y'all gonna lose.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't antagonize us.
I say, there's no crying in baseball.
He's actually really polite. He's a sweet little boy. Like everyone really likes E. Like no one likes Stillwell. Everyone likes E, right? But he'll have like an ice cream cone, and he'll drop it, and he'll
lollipop.
He'll have and he'll drop it, and he'll go, "Son of a bitch!" Right? And he'll do this.
Dang nabbit.
He goes, "Son of a bitch!" Right? And he's 6. He's 6 years old. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love being where I love living here. I absolutely love living here.
Son of a bitch.
He goes, "Son of a bitch." And like I do the fireworks down here. I go bananas with the fireworks down here because I lived in New York my entire life. I was never allowed to do them. I used to buy like these little tiny things from Costco, and cops used to fucking take them because they're scum, right? They just took my fireworks. And oh no, hold on a second. I got to switch cameras here.
We're good at this.
No, we are good at this. I think my battery just died on me.
End credits.
That's
started.
all right. That's okay. I'll just put my this one on. No big deal. There we go. Okay, do that now. There you go. So so we're doing the fireworks, and I bring him over to the house one night, him and his parents and a couple of the girls, and I say, do you want like a fireworks show like preview? And he's like, yeah. So I take like 4 or 5 of them out, and I blow them up in front of the house, and they're the big ones. I got the big ones to show them off. And he's like, "Can we come over for 4th of July?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he goes, last year at 4th of July, we had fireworks, and it tipped over, and it shot into my house, and the front door caught on fire, and the fire men had to come and put it out. I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Nah, I'm just lying. I got you." And dude, he came up with this so quick, straight faced, and it was just great. But anyway, so the Maury County Fair. Now I've been to the Maury County Fair every year since I've been down here, and the first year was during COVID, right? It was like peak COVID, no masks, just
what does
friggin'
peak COVID look like in the South?
It looks like every day, like non-peak COVID.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Anywhere else.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's just a Tuesday, and it wasn't. I gotta say, it wasn't great. It wasn't a great county fair. I've been to some other county fairs around here that have been a lot nicer.
So how many county fairs you been to?
A couple.
Really?
Upstate. Yeah, Wayne County.
I've never
Is that
been to a
Pennsylvania?
county fair.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. That's a big one.
Before I lived here, I've never gone to one, but we went to the Italian festivals. We went to the San Gennaro Feast
fair enough.
and that stuff. We got the Zeppelis. They have all the same stuff. It's just a southern version of it, right? Instead of
What is
Zeppelis,
a
they got
southern
funnel
Zeppeli?
cakes.
Yeah, they got a fried Oreo over there.
Fried Oreos, fried Twinkies, stuff like that. They have sausage sandwiches down here. They're not as good. But you know what they have? They have
giant statues do they carry around and people pin dollar bills to?
A giant Trump.
Yeah, giant Trump.
Foghorn Leghorn and Yosemite
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah, exactly. This so the Maury County Fair, they really did it up this year. And I'm looking at the program, and for the first 2 nights they had a rodeo, and the last night they had something called a jump and run. And I never heard of what a jump and run. I was like, what's a jump and run? I was thinking it was like those blow up things for the kids where they tie themselves to like a bungee cord and they run and they get pulled back. Do you ever see those games like where they have it at like the fairs or whatever? I thought that's what that was, like jump and run, kind of that stuff. But we're walking through and the kids are going on rides. We bought the tickets for the kids, and me, Joe, and my wife are walking around just making sure the kids are my wife are just, they're safe or whatever. And then I see like where the rodeo is, the arena, I just see people flooding into the stands. So I was like, wife, I'm gonna go check out what's going on. So Joe, I was like, Joe, come with me. So we go and we sit down and we just see these mounds of dirt piled up in the middle of the track there. And I'm like, what is this? So we sit down, and it's basically a what do you call those derbies where they crash the cars?
Demolition derby.
Demolition derby, but in a race, like of 2 cars, right? So 2 cars come to the front of this arena. They drive through the middle of it, and then they make a turn and have to do 2 laps around the track, and they're allowed to hit each other and bump each other and crash each other. And then whoever wins goes on to the next round. Whoever loses is out. They did 60 cars worth of jump and runs, right? And this is one of the races, because I just had to show you guys. I was so happy. First of all, I got to say before this, the national anthem was, you got to talk to Joe about the national anthem. It was the most Southern national anthem ever. And in the home of the fray, it was literally like that, right?
Was it played on one of those?
Shoot your pistol up in the air.
It was played on a washboard.
Yeah,
and a jug,
and a broom, and a broom in a bucket,
a broom bass. But no, it was like she starts singing, and we're all, everyone down here is.
Do you do the toss bang a banner to the Confederate flag? That's not weird.
We don't do that, Mike. The different song.
The different song.
In public.
That's
not
Dixie.
In public, at least.
They play Dixie. No, I'm just joking. At Publix, like the supermarket Publix. So like we take our hats off and we bow our heads, because they say they pray all the time. They pray first, and then that's another thing I got to tell you. So we have and she starts singing, and I just go to Joe. I'm like, huh. I did one of Mike's, huh. And Joe just starts cracking up, and like, you can't do that down there. You can't laugh during the national anthem. Like people get pissed. But to go off track one more minute, after all the softball games, no matter if you win or lose, both teams go to the mound and pray. Right, that's like the thing down here. And when I first saw it, I was like, "What's going on? Like, what's going on?" Right? But they all the people go to the mound, all the girls and all the coaches, and they all pray together about to Jesus and thanks for letting us play this great game and give grace to the Lord. And they all go, and Joe's like, "What are they doing?" And I'm like, because he came to one of her softball games. He's like, what's going on here? I'm like, "Oh, they're just praying to the Lord." And he goes, "Oh, okay." It's great. But I want you to watch this race, because this is what Joe got to see, and I'm so glad Joe got this experience. Let's see here. Now, each one of these cars is like, it could be a 1998 Grand Marquis. It could be a brand new Chevy Malibu.
I'm guessing not a lot of Toyotas and Hondas.
There were a couple of those. There were a couple of Hondas and Toyotas and some like Mercury Cougars. And they just soup them up, and like they have no grills. They have like one donut tire on the back. It's amazing. And like the winner gets like $3,000, and I'm sure they have to just fix their car. All the radiators were broke. Like there was antifreeze everywhere. Right. So now I want you to take a look at the Roto-Rooter car. Okay. The inside car, the Roto-Rooter car. On the next lap, something's going to happen to the Roto-Rooter car, which is absolutely phenomenal. And everybody's going crazy, because this is one of the final races of the night. Wait for it. All right, here's the final stretch. Watch that Roto-Rooter car. And there he goes.
Oh,
Flips over, lands on his tires, finishes the race.
just let him cheer.
Unbelievable. So this is what Joe got to see. We watched this for probably an hour and a half. Like we
Really?
stopped
As you should.
We stopped doing the fair. We stopped doing the county fair and did that for like an hour
I
and a
think
half.
this might be the most county fair thing you did.
Oh, absolutely.
No, Steve, upstate by my parents' place, they have a short track, and I love taking Bede to that on Saturday nights. They don't have, it's not a dirt track. I've sent you guys videos of that. I mean, it's so much fun. Everybody's really nice, and it's just a great time. I wish I was there. It looks so much fun.
Oh, it was great. Come next year, man. Come next year. You guys have to get here 4th of July and watch my fireworks shows. But yeah, I'm gonna save my other wasting times for another time because I just had to get that one out there. That was so good. Oh, and we saw somebody vomit on a ride.
Was it like the Sandlot?
So yes,
somebody had some big league chew.
Yes. So imagine the Dumbo ride, but instead of elephants, they're spaceships.
Okay.
And they go up, and they're going
Was tequila
around.
playing in the background?
Yes. No, it was more like George Strait or something. But they're going around, and then at the end, they violently shake them up and down, right? Really violently shake them up and down. And we're looking, and this girl's every time she comes around, because we're online waiting to get on the ride, and every time she comes around, she looks more and more green, and she just goes and fills up the spaceship. The spaceship is an inch deep in her vomit, right? And her friend, she's on with a friend, and the friend is just hanging over the side with a face like this.
How old are they?
17, 18 years old. You know, two girls. One girl's just staring because she has to wait for the ride to end.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no getting off. The one girl is
just the girl centrifugal force pushing that vomit towards you. She go around the
Well, thank God she was on the inside. Oh no, the centrifugal. Oh, it's on the other girl's shoes. Yeah. So the girl who vomited was on the inside. So
I'm pretty sure they were boots.
Yeah, they probably were. So she gets off the ride. Her entire jeans are soaking wet with her own vomit. And her friend is soaking wet with her friend's vomit. And I think
you're pointing and laughing.
Well, we're all so do you know they did not skip a ride? They just ride? So the Mexican guy was like, no, you don't use that one. You don't use that one. And they left the friggin' vomit in it.
What else are they gonna do?
I gotta talk to Mike Hurst about that. His cousin's gotta hose that down.
Oh, they didn't hose it down. No, you don't know that one. No, that one. Wow,
Mike
man.
Hurst, what's up with your cousin? We want to know.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
But that was my wasting time. It was a really fun show. I'm so glad Joe got to witness the true South of Maury County.